Hey everybody, welcome back to Angel's Crafts. I'm Audrey, and tonight, or today, whenever you're watching this, I am trying something I haven't tried before. I have this little bowl mould. I think it may have came from Temu, I don't know, I can't remember. I'm using craft resin 1:1 epoxy. It's crystal clear. I can't remember any of the other details that's on it. But I'm going to measure 150ml of part A and 150ml of part B. And I'm going to split it into a couple of cups and, oops, knocked it over. Try, I don't know. I wouldn't say a dirty pour or anything like that. Just pouring it differently. This is the first time I've tried this, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix up the resin off screen and I will come back when I have my resin ready. I am going to be using micro powders to colour the resin. I'm going for a kind of gold colour, a purplish blue and a rose gold. Now these are Temu bought ones, so they are not branded obviously, and it doesn't have the colour on the name, so I am going with these three colours. Sort of a goldy colour, blue and a kind of rose gold. I will, if I can remember words. Yeah. Nope. Don't remember words. Completely lost. Right, I'm going to go and mix up my resin. And then I'll come back for the pour and the colouring of the resin. Here we are, back again, and I used my resiner's mixing stand to mix the resin. Yes, it's a rather large bowl for the mixing stand, but I move the bowl around a little bit, but I always stir extra and always scrape your sides and make sure you scrape the bottom so that you do not end up with any unmixed resin, because then your resin won't cure properly. But there we go. This is me now. That's my bells. Bells? Did somebody walk down the street? Way down the street and you're barking? Hush hush puppy. Oh, hup. As you know, Bells loves to annoy me when I'm doing my voiceovers. Sometimes she's quiet and sometimes she's not. But I am now scraping my sides and scraping the bottom just to make sure I don't have any unmixed resin. Because the last thing I want is to have an uncured mould. Now I made up 150 part A, 150 part part B, and I ended up with, for some reason, way more than I expected, because this mould actually doesn't really take that much. I thought maybe 300ml would be perfect for it, but it turned out it wasn't. It was way too much. So I will split it into the cups and then I will add the colours. And wow, I've disappeared. Oh, there I am, I'm back again. Yeah, my little drip. It's a coaster mould. I use it to catch the drips off the study paddle. And then Bells? What? Hi. Hello. I use it to catch the drips off the paddle, and then when I'm done I clean the paddle because I don't want to be removing extra dried in resin, because dried in resin will slowly ruin the silicone on them. And and I don't want that. I'm filling these little plastic cups to a little line that's on the plastic cups for my 3 colours. Where are you going, Bells? Are you going down? Are you jumping down? Are you going to go lie on the couch? I'm going to put the blue in the big tub because there's more of that. And with this one, at the point I was thinking if there's any leftovers, I'll use the blue to fill a mould I just coloured, just in case I had extras. Spoiler alert, I had extras. More extras than I bargained for. But, so I am going to use the opposite end of the stick and put is that the rosy gold? No, that's the gold. They're chameleon powders, so it does have a little colour shift in it. And I'll put this voiceover sounds terrible today. I'll put the rose gold in the 3rd cup, and I will get them mixed up, and then I will pour them into the bowl in stages. A little bit of the blue, a little bit of the gold, a little bit of the red, like that. I'm not very good at that part yet because this is the first time I've actually done this. So what I'll do is, while this bit's going, I will leave you to some music, and I'll come back when I finish that and fill my next item. Well, I just thought I'd pop back and let you know that I am putting extra powder in because that rose reddish gold is very opaque. I'll put the same amount in on that one as I did on the gold one, but the gold one is also slightly opaque. Put a wee bit too much in the gold. But, as you can see, speedy work. thanks to the magic of editing. And there we go, I'm off the screen again. There we go. See, it's still slightly, is it opaque or see-through. The stick, you can still see through to the stick with them, but they're darker, and it worked out well. Oh my goodness, my brain just isn't working today. So, here we go, that's them all mixed up, and I am going to start with the blue, and then I'll move on to the next two colours, and what I do is just pour a little bit of each, and then go back to the blue, and then pour a little bit each of the other two colours. But before I do that, I will give the bottom round the rim, round the rim of the bowl a little squidgy. Okay, maybe I won't. I thought I did. Well, I must do it after I've done some more colouring. I thought I had give it a squidgy there, but I'm getting ahead of myself. So, that champagne gold colour looks really nice. Oh, there we go, I'm giving it a squidge now. So, as you can see, I'm giving it a little squidge round about the bottom ends to help with any trapped bubbles that are lying down round that end, squeezing them up so that I don't end up with bubbles round the rim. Then I move on to it's like a rose red, but it's slightly, not prominently red, more of a rusty red. And then by this point I have realised I have got way too much resin for this little bowl. As I said, I thought it would take maybe about 200-300 mils, thinking that it would be alright to have a little something on the side for making extras. But then I realised that this little tiny thing actually doesn't take as much as I thought it did. I'm going to move back on and put some more blue in, I think, after I've done some squidging on the side, just to knock any bubbles up. A little cake drop, as it's called. Got to be very careful not to squeeze the bowl too hard so that it doesn't come squirting out the top. So just giving some tapping and squidging and a little flick with the fingers just to help stop bubbles. Because from what I remember of the bowl, it looked like it had a kind of pattern in it. So I didn't want any bubbles getting stuck on that. This is a little, like, baby wyvern, I would call it. It's been done with Nebula from the Tiny Turner and the green from Let's Resin. I just gave it a little powder because I knew I was going to have a little bit extra left that I would be able to do this with. It's just a tiny little baby wyvern. Now, some people would say it's a dragon, some people say it's a wyvern, other people say it looks more like a sea serpent type thing. But it's definitely not a dragon, because dragons have 2 hind legs, 2 front legs, and wings. As far as I'm concerned, anyway. Everybody's got their own opinion. What would you call it? Here I found that having much more extra than I thought I was going to have, that I would, pour it all in to this little froggy here, thinking that I might not have enough to fill it, but I did. I filled it and then had a tiny little bit extra. These little frog molds are notorious for getting bubbles on that little part of underneath the chin. So I was just giving that a little squeeze to try and knock any bubbles out. And I am now just going to scrape out the rest and fill up this little froggy. I think this is the first time I've done a frog in any of my previous videos. But I am filling it as slowly as I can round the feet so that it gets into all these little tootsies. And then I find that I still have some extra, so that's going to go into the little drip mould that I have sitting at the back as well. This is me using a micro brush, but I've took the cotton bit off the end of it so that I can pull the resin into the feet so that I don't end up making too much of a mess, which I already have, as you can see, in the little joint bits of these hips. There's little pocket bits so that you can pull the hip bits off, and I made a mess. Nothing new there. So I'm just topping up these little feet to make sure that they aren't too thin. And then I'll just scrape the rest of what's in the reddish gold colour into my drip, which is a kitsune, a nine-tailed fox. I've done him before on one of my videos. Or was it Ray that done him? Ray done him in Resin Crate for his little debut video, just having a little fun, just scraping some more of the gold out the other cup so that it's all empty. I'm sorry about that, I had a little cough there. I'm going to put these in the G3, but I am not putting the kitsune in the G3 because he's still got plenty of space left to get some more resin, so that way I'm not wasting any resin and I can fill him if I have any leftover resin in the future. I'm just going to put him back on the side. Oh, Bells, you're such a noise. Yes, you are. As you can tell, she didn't stay down on the floor for very long. And she didn't want to go and lie on the couch. But as I was saying, I put the kitsune mold back to the side. I'm not going to cure that in here because it'll probably be another couple of days before. Hey, what's the matter with you? Oh, you're noisy the day. I'm just making sure that I have everything in a good position because I don't have the extender for this. I put it on for 3.5 hours and I have it at 45 degrees Celsius on this time round. I'm still new to it, using the resiners machine, so I'm still not 100% certain on the best temperatures and time lengths, but watching other people like, yep, there we go, my brain just went blank. Who else has got a resiners machine? Janet at the Crafty Rat, and Jules the Resinator. They both use the machine, so I'm kind of gauging off of what they use and how they do it. That was me just coming back after everything's all cured and started the video and then realised I forgot to put my lights on. And I'm going to start with demoulding the little dragon, wyvern, sea serpent, whatever you want to call it. What would you call it? Pop it in your... Pop there. See, speaking's not easy. Pop a comment down in the bottom. And, nope, there we go again. Pop your suggestion of what you think it is down in the comments. That might help. And tell me what you think it is or what you would call it. This mould's very easy to demould. And he's not soft. The bowl's still just slightly soft because that's thinner. But isn't he so pretty? There's such a contrast against the nether and the Let's Resin green. But he's so cute. I am going to unmould my first froggy. And because I poured them pretty well, there really isn't any sharp bits on this one. And I will spend a moment or two unpicking the little resin drips from in his hips. Hey, I'm a poet and I didn't know it. He got drips in his hips. This little froggy's toesies are still soft, but the rest of them's all set perfectly fine. Resin takes slightly longer to cure on a thinner part of a mould than on a deeper part. It just stays a little more flexible for a little while. If you're new to resin, if you're not and you already know this, you already know this. But this is me just trying to demould them. From the frogs that I've done before, I find it easier to demould from the back. Take it over the hips and then take out his feet at the front and then slide it off the head. It's always worked easier that way. The first time I tried to pull it from the head end first, but it just didn't seem to want to work that way. So, 1, 2, 3, maybe not, and pop, off comes the head. Well, not the head, off comes the mould anyway. Most of the colours are mixed well. It looks fairly bubble free. There's no bubbles underneath the chin, which is really good. And that is my finished little froggy. My large extra. The extra I wasn't expecting to have. What you will see coming up is me then moving on to the bowl. I will be there momentarily once I've picked out a couple of the leftover dry bits of resin. If you're new to resin or haven't actually used resin, making sure that your moulds are clean also helps save your resin, your silicone moulds. Now here I'm going to pull down and roll off like I usually do, but 1, 2, 3, here I go. Whoops, I did it. Oh, and I'm back. It wasn't fully filled, so it has a bit of a lip, and I sliced my finger. Oh, Bells, you're being awful noisy today. But here we go. I'll pop out this lovely little bowl. If you've stuck around this long, well done. You poor person, having to listen to me rabbiting on. But I think it was worth it. I hope you do too. If you did enjoy this video, please like and subscribe. And if you've made it this far even, drop a little heart in the comments to let me know you managed to stick around and put up with my voice. Always always make sure that you turn your moulds back in the correct way. That also helps keep your moulds in good conditions. And here we go. First time ever making a bowl. First time ever using mixed colours. And it's not too bad. I kind of like it. It's a little, as it says, the red and the gold seemed to be rather transparent, so maybe I should have done more powder. Because you can see my hand underneath it at the bottom. I will, as I just showed there with my finger, fix that sharp part and deburr it. But because it's still slightly soft at the minute, I'll leave that and do that later. And there we go, we have the froggy and the lovely little dragon. Up in a minute, you will see the glamour shots of these. And I will be back again. Oh, see, I got a tiny little bubble underneath. The only one that had a bubble was one little bubble under there. But thank you so much for sticking around. It's been my pleasure. You're suffering, probably, having to listen to me. But there we go. My first ever bowl. Yay, me. Thank you so much for watching. Enjoy the glamour shots. And I will see you again very soon. Bye.